All right, and we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the Power Half Hour. Every single Wednesday, we interview a top producer in our market. And this week, our very own Miss Natasha Koch, who has 23 years of real estate experience. Welcome today. Thank you for being here, Natasha.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, we always start by saying, how did you get started in real estate? How long have you been in real estate?
Well, I got started in real estate 23 years ago, so going into 24 years now. Year 2000 is when I got licensed. And I'm originally
Wow.
from Toronto, and I started selling real estate actually on Vancouver Island.
Yeah, it says here you led a team. Was that more of like a pre-construction team or a actual team doing resale back in the on the island?
Back in the day. Yes, so it was resale real estate. So when I first got into real estate, things were a lot different. We didn't have the
Mm.
technology base, so everything was um, in word of mouth, and I had a pager. I did have a cell phone, but at the time it was a flip phone that you didn't really text from. So it's definitely changed over the years for sure. We hand wrote all of our contracts. We wrote in our own clauses. We used a typewriter at the very beginning, and even before I got into real estate, I was a receptionist for a real estate office.
Oh boy. Okay. So was that like in the late 90s that you were a receptionist and then you got your license, transitioned into sales and ran a team on the island?
Yes, and the team itself was the coach approach, which was my slogan at the time, and so I hired buyer and seller agents to work on our
Wow.
team and ran that on in Nanaimo actually.
Wow. So year 2000 you were doing this before Teams even was a thing.
Yes. Well, I when I first got into the business, it was on the upswing of the market, and I did that on my own for quite some time, but it became so busy that there were days where I I just couldn't do it all as a single agent any longer. And
Mm,
nowadays, I don't know how any single agent can operate. I don't think it's even possible effectively.
yeah. There's a physical cap, that's for sure. So you got to a point where you got so busy, then you started building a team. You know, back then it was probably more of a different structure than what we call teams today. How do you not get burnt out, 23 years?
Well, I did actually. I did get
You
burnt
did.
out. I did.
Tell us about that.
I
Yeah.
did in the year 2008, where the mortgage crash happened in the U.S. and it did affect our real estate market. So from year 2000 and 2008, 8 years in real estate, I was going strong and producing pretty big results. Especially with our price point being as low as it was, I was probably doing at least 100 ends each year. So 100 sales a year, was very taxing. So 2008, everything kind of came to a halt because no one knew what was going to happen or how it was going to affect the market. And at that point in time, I actually took a hiatus for a year and a half and went to Mexico with my son. Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah. So I did
Probably
crash.
the best time to do it.
You know what? It was the best time, and it was the best time for family as well. Because one thing I
Mm,
can say in this industry is that it takes a lot of work and a lot of time, and you can become uh, you can lose sight of the important things in your life. So I think that striving for that balance is always important to maintain, and remembering that it's a business and that you need to be working on it and also on yourself at the same time. So spending that time with my son was probably the best thing I could have ever done.
that's amazing. So a year and a half moving to Mexico,
Hmm.
and so coming back in mid 2009, I would guess then, when markets started to pick back up.
Yes, so it actually picked up before I even came back. When I came back, I started to form my team. So that was when I actually created the team. Prior to
Ah,
that, I was running solo for the 8 years, and when I
oh, I see.
yeah, so I built my team during that time because I realized that I needed to delegate some of the responsibilities and things that I wasn't the strongest at. I mean, in real estate, well, I think that people get into real estate because they're quite independent and they want to be able to do everything. But really, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and recognizing
Hmm.
those early enough is probably key because then you can delegate those weaknesses to others that are stronger at them.
Ooh, I love that. I've been reading the book Buy Back Your Time, and it's an absolute game changer. So, tell us a little bit about that. How did you learn to let go and delegate? It's really hard for real estate agents.
It is really hard for real estate agents because we want to be everything to everyone, and
That's right.
you can't. So I guess getting really clear on why you're doing what you're doing,
Mm.
and setting boundaries, setting really strong boundaries as to who you want to work with, how many hours a week you want to be working, and
Mm.
so quality over quantity, I think, is probably the key.
Compress the time and make sure that you have boundaries for time and boundaries of who you will not work with. That is so hard to do in real estate because the best part about real estate is you create your own schedule. And the worst part about real estate is you create your own schedule. So you could literally work no time or you could work all day long. And a lot of us workaholics do that. So how did you learn to pull back? Was it from the 8 years of being burnt out, or like you were mature in the business, or were you a person that just knew how to let go like automatically?
No, actually, I sort of ran by the seat of my pants and
Mm.
most of the time and
Yeah.
remembered everything. But as I got older, I guess experience probably added to it. Some of the agents around me, I started looking at what other people were doing and easier ways to do that. Often we're just concerned with reinventing the wheel, but if you look around, you'll see that people have already been there, done that, and probably could teach you a few things. So listening a little bit better instead of
Mm.
always talking, and learning from what other people are doing. Yeah.
I love that. Being coachable, learn how to listen. I mean, these are some of the things that don't come easy to real estate agents. And what I'm hearing and getting is that you need to have a lot of patience as well.
You do. I think actually that when people get into this industry, they have a misconception, of course, by thinking that they're going to make $1 million in the first week that they're in real estate because because they see someone that's successful that maybe inspired them to get into it in the first place. However, they don't know the steps that that person went through to get to where they are, or if the reality is in fact that they're as successful as they portray to be.
Mm.
So I definitely think that educating people on the timeline that it actually does take to get things going, and getting really clear on what you value, really. I mean, it's not always monetary. So the quality time that I spent with my son, a lot of people thought, oh, you left the business. I didn't leave the business. I just redesigned it for a way that worked better.
Guys, she didn't leave the business. She redesigned her business and life to fit her life better. That is amazing. Now, most people won't take a year and a half off. I mean, not many people do. What, how, how did you get through that in terms of finances? Like, did you have a wad of cash saved up? Like, most people can't do that.
Well, that's true too. So one of the things that when I first got into real estate, of course, I got excited about the commission checks and the size of them, and I started to shop a little bit more than I would have before for larger priced items because everything equated to, oh, one more sale and I can have that. And it's very easy to get into that. But my father told me when I was young, and I listen to him much more now than I did then, that it's really not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. So
Mm.
how I survived that was because I saved my money. So
Amazing.
I spend wisely, and I learned how to do that even better as I grew in the industry.
Wow. Okay. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Realtors always get into that spiral, and most realtors don't like to talk about it. So how do you stay disciplined with your finances as a real estate agent? Because, like you said, oh, one more deal, I can make that payment on that car, right? One more deal, I can buy this purse, whatever. How did you stay disciplined?
Well, I'm much more disciplined now than I ever was before because I think that maturity set in a little bit further as you get older. But I actually I started coaching myself later in the years of real estate and really started tracking and recording. So I think that tracking and measuring is also something that I learned along the way that really helped. And uh, determining what your ROI is on things, like what is your return on that investment? Because it's very easy, and there's so many ideas in real estate that you would love to do all of them and you want to buy every program that there is available out there, but is it going to work for you and how well is it? So tracking and measuring those
Mm.
really determine how much you're willing to spend on certain things.
Yeah, so really tracking everything that you spend, budgeting. I really never learned that until now. Being running a profitable real estate team. So how do you stay profitable in your real estate team?
Well, I only spend I have a rule of thumb that I don't spend more than 25% towards my overall costs. So 25, so whatever I'm making. So if I want to spend more, I have to make more first in order to spend it.
Mm.
So that's one rule. Another thing that I do is I do also invest in other areas. So I invest in real estate myself. I believe in having multiple streams of income
Mm-hmm.
because obviously real estate markets and life changes, and so having those different streams definitely is helpful. Um, and also making sure that you maintain a consistent lead follow up in order to continuously generate leads at all
Mm.
times. Because at the beginning of my career, I realized that I was kind of running paycheck to paycheck or commission check to commission check,
Mm.
and I didn't like that inconsistency because it makes you feel unsafe and
Yep,
worried,
big
right?
time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just creating consistency, I would say, is probably one of the other big keys.
Creating consistency in cash flow, creating consistency in lead generation, and being disciplined with your finances, being disciplined with your investing, and no more than 25%.
No more
If you
than
want to spend more money, you got to go make more money to spend the 25%, which you're putting right back into your business anyway, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And and also saving for taxes. So I actually have separate accounts where I take out the money for my taxes right from my checks because these commission checks that we get, we have to accommodate for, all the expenses that go with it. So for all of you out there that think you're making $1 million when you first get into
no.
real estate, uh, the tax man is going to get paid regardless at the end. So yeah.
I don't know why that's so funny, but I'd rather cry on that one. But so, how much let's say a check of $10,000, how much are you putting away to reinvest into your business? And how much are you putting away for taxes?
Well, I'm now incorporated, so I have a little bit of a better tax rate.
Hmm.
But I would say for anyone just starting in the industry that might not be ready to incorporate, they should be at least saving their 20% towards their tax,
Okay.
and then 25% to spend on their business, whether it's to
Awesome.
delegate to someone to help you with your business or towards lead generation. Um, Another thing that I do spend the money back in my business is on different streams also of lead generation.
Mm.
because
Is that within the 25%, Natasha?
yeah, I
Okay.
spend 25% on my business. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
the
So
rest is mine.
the rest is yours. So whatever you, for investments or whatever have you, is this, so 45%, you're putting away 20 to taxes,
Yes,
25 to reinvesting into the business, and then the rest of the 55% is Natasha's money.
yes.
Amazing. Amazing. So then it's investments and then whatever you want to do with your money, right?
Basically, yeah. I mean, I am developing a coaching aspect now that I've been in the business so long. So I'm definitely reinvesting some of that now in another
Ah,
business,
love
um,
it.
because they sort of enhance one another. So now the coach approach that I had initially started when it was the coach approach team is now coach approach coaching,
Ah,
and so it's reviving. The coach approach is now coming back to life, but in a
I
different.
love it.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's your passion. Tell us a little bit about how you coach agents.
Well, I'm learning based on the coach that I currently have. So as I said, I am being coached weekly. So and I
Mm.
really believe that everybody needs a coach of some sort or an accountability partner or someone that you're gonna voice what your promises are and they're gonna hold you accountable.
Hmm.
I need a very tough coach, and I have one. So, what I have done is basically replicate what I'm learning from
Mm.
coaching and offering that for free to other agents that
For
are.
free?
Yes, I do it. I do coaching for free at this
Oh,
moment.
wow.
I do. Yeah. So
Okay.
I host once a month now. I was hosting once a week. I do a newsletter once a week for anyone wanting to get some tips on selling real estate. And then once a month, I do an actual event, which is a full hour of real estate coaching on a different theme each month.
Amazing. How do people get a hold of that coaching? Is it through a Zoom call or is it um, through another platform?
It is through Zoom. Yeah. So we do
Okay.
it on Zoom. Yeah. So we can actually post the link so that way you can register on Eventbrite if you'd like to. I've got one
Awesome.
coming up. Like I said, it's once a month. It's free of charge, and it's for any new agents or seasoned agents or anyone just wanting some new ideas. Hopefully, there's something in there that might be of value to your own business.
What's the m- most that you talk about in your coaching? Is it more about lead generation or you incorporate social media, AI? What's the unique selling proposition of the coaching?
I actually format it into four areas. So basically, I think that our business, to have a full rounded business, you need to be focused on finance, of course,
Mm,
and sales and marketing and operationalizing because you can have lots of
ooh,
great ideas, but if you don't have an operation or a system lined up, then the ideas likely won't happen. So I cover all four of those areas as a main focus. With different ideas to interject. So, yes, we cover social media, but obviously, social media isn't going to be the only way that you want to generate leads. So, perhaps you want to get into farming, a certain area, maybe the area that you live or the area that you spend the most time in is usually the best. Or postcards. There's a lot of old school ways of selling real estate that are still very effective in
mm-hmm.
today's market, which is why I'm still probably here. And then using technology to enhance them
I
just makes
love
it
it.
so much better. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, giving your 23 years of experience in, generating leads, converting sales, saving taxes, so working on the finance end as well. That's what you coach as well. So sounds like a pretty holistic view of real estate sales, not just the lead generation part. It's like everything.
It is everything. Yeah. And it's based on
Amazing.
all those four quadrants. Yeah.
Perfect. Free of charge, guys.
Free of charge. Come and join me.
Wow.
I'm hoping I do plan to charge for it at some point in time. So definitely now would be the time to get in on it rather than later.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So yeah, let's post the Eventbrite link in the face on the Facebook wall here. As we go along in 2024, what do you think is going to happen this year, like in terms of the market, interest rates? You've been through a couple cycles. What are you seeing?
I have. Of course, some of the cycles have similarities and some don't. I've never survived through a pandemic, as we all know, that had
Yeah.
some definite effects. Uh, Cyclically, we've got, now coming into the spring market, so a lot of families will start to transition, and this is the time where they are out looking for buyers
Mm.
that have families because they want to have their children situated by the summer months, and that way they will be in their homes and solidly set up for September school start. So so if that's an area that you want to focus on, families, now would be the time to be marketing to those downsizers, people that have family homes to sell to those families. Now would also be the
Mm.
time that they know that the upcoming spring will be a lot of maintenance to their homes, and maybe now's the time to sell it and get into something smaller so that they don't have to do that maintenance. So if downsizers is another area you want to focus on, now would also be the time to do that. I think it's going to be a fantastic year. January typically is very slow, and it
Hmm.
wasn't this year, so it's
Yeah.
been quite active. I think that then in during the summer months, of course, we are still busy. September typically is again slow. We'll see what 2024 brings, and then October is usually all the families are settled, and we've got again the downsizers and the retirees that kind of come out to play. So that's kind of the
Mm.
every year cycle. But yes, I think that it's going to be a busy 2024.
That's amazing. Well, good to hear. I've never heard of that actually. The downsizers take action in the spring and in the fall. Is that
They
what
do.
I'm hearing?
Yep, they do. The downsizers do take action. They take action in selling their properties in the spring and again in the fall so that they can maybe winter elsewhere, somewhere warmer, like perhaps Mexico, or in the spring prior to having to look after their large properties or maintenance that's needed during the summer months.
So, guys, reach out to the downsizers right now because they're going to take action in the springtime and they'll chill in the summertime. They'll probably not want to do anything because the weather is good. And they'll take action to get out of the winter, get out of here from the cold to go somewhere warmer.
Yep.
So, I never thought of that. This is brilliant. So,
It's actually
wow.
it's kind of exciting for me as well because as I transition, I have an exit strategy of moving out of production, growing the team, and getting more into coaching.
Mm,
But during that time, now that I'm excited about EXP moving into Mexico, I own property now in Mexico after having
love
been
it.
there. And so I will then be transitioning those downsizers, hopefully to Mexican destinations or other destinations for sure.
That's exciting. So that's very cool. So you plan to transition out of production and moving to Mexico as well yourself?
I'll be there my intention is to be there during the winter months. So 6 months and 6 months will be the perfect life balance for me.
Oh, I love it. Yes, 6 months and 6 months. That's the dream. You're gonna be living the dream. On the agent side,
Yeah.
Natasha, what do you think agents should do here in the first quarter to make sure they set ourselves up to dominate 2024?
Well, I'm a true believer actually to working in 90-day increments.
Mm,
So, and the reason why I do that is because you will really know if something is working if you do it for a full 90 days.
mm,
So we're already midway through the first quarter.
yeah.
And so, whatever the business plan was, and hopefully every agent out there has one. If they don't, then get yours done quickly because whatever you had hoped to have in your first quarter, you're going to have to ramp up for the second. But I always work in 90-day increments. So have a 90-day action plan. It's much easier to follow something for
Mm.
90 days than it is for a full year. And make sure that you have a consistent strategy for every area that you want to focus on for the next 90 days.
Yeah, it's all in 90-day cycles. If you have good business right now, that means you did something right 90 days ago. If you don't have good business now, you know what you were doing 90 days ago as well.
That's right.
What's one last piece of insight overall for agents if they want to succeed?
Be consistent. And be consistent is really because we need to be seen. It's a very competitive industry, and people will only see you if they see that it is repetitive, because that is what actually
Hmm.
builds confidence in people's
Hmm.
minds.
So, meaning if you show up all the time and you be consistent, your clients will actually trust you because you show up all the time.
That's right. This is a relationship industry, so
Hmm.
and it's based on trust. So absolutely, consistency builds trust.
Consistency builds trust, guys. If you got nothing else from this, well, I certainly learned a lot. I'm gonna start putting away money, Natasha,
Save your
uh,
money.
for for taxes and for reinvesting into our business and become a smart businessman. So, guys, if you want to see more of Natasha's content, click the link below. She will share it. It's free coaching, guys. And look forward to seeing you on her calls. Natasha, thank you so much for today. I'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, John.
All right. Have a good
Okay.
day.
Bye bye.